Hello everyone, my name is Wing and welcome to my presentation for the Milestone project. My analysis topic for this project is UFO sightings. There are a few reasons why I chose this subject for my analysis. One of them being that I'm just someone who's always curious about everything, and I feel like the general public, including myself, knows of these type of phenomena, but at the same time they're also unknown to us. Another main reason is because of the congressional hearing that happened almost 4 months ago on July 26th, where officers from intelligence services stated many of these encounters and findings were being hidden from both the Congress and the public. So, all of a sudden, this topic was no longer just a conspiracy theory, but something that is real and happening in front of our own eyes. And so I saw this as an opportunity and asked myself if I could take this data and try to make sense of it. For this project, I have set up three research questions that I hope to gain some insights on. Now, when we think of UFOs, I think most of us think of the classic disc shape like the one over here. But is this really what most people reported in the data? Also, have there been any changes in the number of sightings throughout the years? And for my last question, I would like to see whether there was a pattern in terms of season and time that these sightings were likely to happen. The dataset I used for this project was extracted from a nonprofit organization called the National UFO Reporting Center. The data was collected through historical records and individuals reporting the sightings with NUFORC. I did not have to perform any joining for this data as it came in only one Excel file and everything was on a single sheet. But there were over 80,000 records from around the world. And as we see right here, their original set was a bit cluttered and disorganized. So for transformation, I removed fields that I found would not be useful for this analysis, such as detailed description of the sightings. I have also done further cleaning, like splitting and grouping values and changing fields to their appropriate data types. And this is the result. For my first question, I asked what are the most commonly reported shapes and do the countries with the most sightings have similar results? Like I said earlier, I wanted to see if the best known disk shape would make it onto the top list and whether most countries would have similar reports on shapes. As we see here, I have the top 10 reported shapes and countries with the most sightings listed. Looks like disk did make it to the list but was only at rank number 8 with almost 5,200 records. The top 3 were light, triangle, and circle. I'm a bit curious about what a triangular shape UFO looks like. That's pretty interesting. Now, how much this information would change based on individual country? Looks like most countries have quite similar ratings, with light still being the number one. But when we select India, it appears that fireball was the most reported shape. Culture could possibly be one of the reasons for this, and the fact that India has a more distinct climate than the rest of these countries may serve as another contributing factor. The second question I would like the answer to was, are there any changes in the frequency of sightings throughout the reported years? And can we predict what will happen in the future? This is a line chart that shows the number of reports around the world year over year. We do see the number of sightings gradually started to pick up until around 1990, and that's where we see a drastic rise. And despite the sharp decline over here between 2012 to 2014, the trend still appears to be going upward. I then switched my focus to US only for the forecast since most of the records in this dataset were from the States. Based on historical data, the forecast also predicted an increase in reports in the future years. Now, can we conclude that the number of sightings have increased over the years and that they are likely to do so in the future? Yes and no. If we solely examine what we have here, obviously the numbers have increased by a lot throughout the years, but technological advancement can play a critical role in this case. Note that the earliest record was dated all the way back in 1906, which computers and other sophisticated recording devices were obviously non existent. When computers were invented in the 1950s, however, that's when we start to see a higher increase in sighting reports. Knowledge and acceptance regarding the unknown, like UFOs, may also impact how people back in the day share their experiences. Nonetheless, with the government's acknowledgement of the existence of such phenomena, as well as the advancement in technology, I still think the number of sightings will increase as time goes on. My last research question was: is there a reason and time that these sightings seem to happen most often? The chart over here shows the total number of sightings across the four seasons, and it looks like summer has the most, while winter has the least. I did think of a few factors that might be able to explain this finding. People tend to spend more time outdoors during summertime due to warmer weather, which can provide a higher chance of an UFO encounter. Summer also typically has clearer skies than winter, which increases the visibility and makes it easier for people to identify objects in the sky. We may also assume that maybe UFOs just prefer to fly more during summer compared to winter. The chart here at the bottom shows the total number of sightings for each hour. It appears that sightings mostly occur during nighttime, and they peaked at around 10 to 11 o'clock, with a combined number of 22,227 cases. This pattern applies to all seasons except for winter, which I think could be due to the weather as well. Over here, I have a list of countries with the highest average encounter time. Bosnia and Peru really stood out amongst all countries with an average of 329 and 219 hours, respectively. This was, this was a fascinating finding to me because if we convert those hours, that's roughly 14 days and 9 days. And it makes me wonder what were those UFOs doing while sitting there for that long. Overall, I found that there were not many variations in reported UFO shapes. The number of sightings is likely to increase in the future, and that sightings are likely to happen in the summer and or at nighttime. At the beginning of this milestone, I was a bit shocked by the number of sighting records in the data set and wasn't sure how this would come out. And through this project, I have learned that the factors that could influence how we interpret and analyze the data. To me, this project has not only provided insights into UFO sightings, but has also opened avenues for further research and exploration into the patterns and factors influencing these phenomena. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you really enjoyed the presentation. Until next time.